getting me through it. So we went 9-7. I went plus $24.33. One of those weeks where you're like, man, I wish I bet more on the games, but I don't. I throw $7 usually at each one. So had I bet more, we would have made a lot more. The show got Michigan, Bama, Memphis, Oklahoma, Georgia Tech, the over for North Texas, Washington State. North Texas handled that by themselves. Tennessee, Vanderbilt, which was the best bet. Illinois, Old Dominion money line, which came through, and they were an underdog. Arkansas, LSU, Navy, Utah State, and Cal. So we did pretty good there. We only had 5 misses. To be honest, we could have had a few. The Oregon one could have came through if they kept their starters out there, or if Northwestern would have played their second stringers like most people do. Static, never mind, it was there for a moment, then gone. Yeah, I'm telling you, when there's no music, it's just going to be like that, unfortunately. Another reason why I use music. But yeah, 15-5 on the show. So let's get into week 4, shall we? I believe there's a game going on right now, Rice and Charlotte. I didn't get in on this one, but I would have went Rice minus the 1.5. And I'm kicking myself at the moment that I didn't get in on it. But, it's just like, Rice and Charlotte. Do we really want to kick off the week with that? Oh, that's a bad game. So I'm not in on that one. All right. So I actually like FanDuel better because it's a little brighter for you guys. So let's go over to FanDuel and see what we got else going on here. Tulsa, Oklahoma State. If this gets a 10, I like the Pokes to get this one. I like the Pokes. But this is an in-state rivalry, I guess. And neither team has looked that great. But I would lean Oklahoma State here. But I'm probably going to stay away from that unless I see 9.5 or 10. Most people will be going under on this, Iowa-Rutgers. But both teams have improved offenses. So I could see this going over. But because of the principle, I kind of don't want to, because part of me thinks that the under is going to come through again, like when it always does with these two. Hey, Cookie Queen, how we doing? So I'm just not going to pick it. Probably a small lean to Iowa just to win the game. A money line Iowa. Staying away from these. Okay, so this is the battle for the iron skillet. It's Dallas versus Fort Worth. They're right by each other. This game always has fireworks. The most stunning thing we would see all week would be if this came in as an under. Every single year, this is an over. And I don't care that this is 62.5. I'm going to go over because it's a principal play. This game is always over, so give me the 62.5 over. North Texas looked pretty good last week, but I'm staying away from that. I kind of almost want to bet against Clemson the rest of the year because they have yet to cover a game. High expectations coming into the year, and here they are, 2 losses already. So wouldn't it be hilarious if Syracuse gave it number 3? Probably not going to happen, but if I were to play this, I would be on Syracuse if it got to like 17.5. Chilling you? I'm chilling myself. It's been a busy day with work, dinner, workout, and now I'm here. So I haven't had a chance to fart all day. But you know what? That's the way it goes on the days that I stream on work days, I'm a grinder. I grind until bedtime. Texas Tech, Utah. So Utah has a really good home field advantage, and they got elevation. But I think Texas Tech is the better team. And now that this is 3.5, I think you got to take the Red Raiders here with the 3.5. They could lose by 3 and you can still win, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Red Raiders won the game. So I'm going to be with Texas Tech here. I think they're a slightly better team. If they're at home, they would win by 7, probably, maybe even 10. But they're not at home. They got lucky that this is not a night game at Utah, or I'd be probably on Utah. What was that? South Florida. You know what? That's actually kind of a small spread for South Carolina State. I don't know if I'll bet it, but I'll probably be on the Bulls with that because they'll be pissed off after looking bad last week against Miami. And they're playing FCS school, so yeah, I would take the Bulls there. Waiting for this to get down to 7. Arkansas, I would be on Arkansas here even though they're on the road. Memphis is not too far away from Fayetteville. You're talking maybe a 3-hour drive, if that. So it's not like it's that large of a trip. You know, Arkansas and Tennessee are neighbors. So I would take the Hogs here, even though they have a look-ahead spot to next week with Notre Dame. I think they win this game by 7, maybe 10. So let this get to 7 first, and then I would get in on it. Small lean to UNLV there, but I'm not going to touch it. Yeah, I mean, Tennessee usually blasts opponents like this, especially in Neyland. But maybe they have a small hangover from last week, losing to Georgia in overtime. And next week they got Mississippi State, which is not exactly a look-ahead spot. So I could see them covering this huge number here. But for the show, I'm just going to avoid it. But I would probably be on the Vols there or pass. Ah, yes, the Civil War. Oregon State, separated by a mere, hour drive or so. Maybe 50 minutes. If that. It might even be 45 minutes if you're cooking. This is the largest spread I've ever seen in this rivalry. I think the last time we saw this was like 2014, 2015-ish, back when I think it was 2014 when Mariota was on the team. I think it was 35 then. This is the largest I've seen, 35.5. And Oregon State is really struggling this year. It's not your typical Beaver team. But Oregon has Penn State next week. So I could see Oregon getting a huge lead, putting in the backups just like they did last week, and focusing on Penn State in the fourth quarter. You know, their heads will be kind of out of it. Even though it's a rivalry, they're going to probably want to rest their starters in the fourth quarter if they have a huge lead. So be careful here. I'm not going to touch this. If anything, I probably would go over. I think if Oregon State can just get 10 points, this is probably going to hit over. If they get 14, it's definitely hitting over because you're looking at 42-14 game. So it's going to hit. But it'd be over or pass, really. I mean, Civil War usually is a close game. I don't think it will be this year. I like Florida State here. Kent State might be the worst team in FBS. They're definitely down there, bottom 5 for sure. So I see 48-0 here, potentially 51-3. Michigan, Nebraska. This is a big one here. I really want to root for Nebraska here because college football is better when Nebraska's good. But I'm not sure they're quite there yet. I do think the under is a good play here. I think this is going to be a smash mouth dogfight. 21-24 or something like that. Maybe 17-20. I think the under is the best play here. But if I had to pick a side, I would just pick Michigan money line. You still get good value here at minus 126. And that way, in case they win by 1 or 2, you still hit. So I'd be on the Wolverines just to win the game here. I think they're just a slightly better team, even though they're on a tough environment there. Tulane, Ole Miss. I actually like Tulane here. Ole Miss has some injuries right now. Their quarterback's injured. Their backup's pretty good, but they got some injury issues. And this is Tulane's Super Bowl. This is the game that they have to win if they want to go to the playoff this year. They don't necessarily have to win it to go to the playoff. If they keep it close and then they win the rest of their games, they'll probably be in. But this is their Super Bowl. So I think they're going to keep it around a 7 or 10-point game. They're not going to win. They could, but I don't think they're going to win. But I think it'll be like a maybe like a 30-23 game, something like that. I think Ole Miss will win, but just not by 12.5. If you see this on Saturday get to 14.5, you gotta hammer Tulane. You got to. All right, so here's one of the best bets of the day. We haven't had one in a while. Last week we went 3-1 on best bets, and here is one of mine today. Now I do think the under with Oklahoma games this year is going to be a hot ticket. They have been undefeated to the under this year so far. I like to look at trends. They play great defense, and they look like the better team this year. So give me that song. Let's play the Boomer Sooner. Your first best play of the day. Just better quarterback, John Mateer. Better defense, better coaching, and they're at home. They only got to win by 7. Yeah. They can do that. They might win by 14. I mean, you only got to get them by 7 here, so I will take that all day long. I think Michigan's better than Auburn, and Oklahoma beat Michigan by more. So take that for what you will. Okay. This would be a UConn or pass. I like this at 21, better than 21.5, so keep an eye on that. Purdue, Notre Dame, in-state rivalry here. They're both in Indiana schools. I think one of them is West Lafayette. The other, I'm not really sure where it is. Maybe Fort Wayne. I don't know. But they're separated by maybe an hour or two, so they're pretty close. But I kind of like Purdue to keep it close here. I think for some reason they lose by 21. Purdue has been undervalued by the market this year. I think they've covered every game actually, and Notre Dame might get off to a sleepy start. A little hangover from last week with Texas A&M. They lost that one late, so I see a first quarter. Maybe it's a tie game. Maybe it's 7-0. Maybe even 3-0 Purdue. I mean, sleepy start. So I think it takes Notre Dame a little bit to get going, and Purdue ends up covering by a short margin here. I mean, you got to think UCF can cover against North Carolina there, but I'm not gonna play that. Probably a lot of points in this NC State Duke game. I would expect the over. It would probably be the best play here. But we do got another best bet here. Now, the best number is over on DraftKings at the moment that you can get 21.5 over here, but I got 21. So, your second best bet of the day, Bulldogs, Mississippi State. Northern Illinois has looked atrocious this year. They barely beat a school by the name of Holy Cross. Holy Cross is not FBS. Barely beat them. They just haven't looked that good this year. And Mississippi State might be one of the most surprising teams this year. They look pretty good. They're undefeated. They beat Arizona State. They hammered Alcorn State 63-0. I mean, I think they win by 28 here. So I will take the Bulldogs. SEC at home. Big talent gap between SEC and MAC. And you're getting a low number here. So I will take it 100%. Okay, Temple, Georgia Tech. I got nothing on this one. I love this Georgia Tech team, though. If that was 21, I'd feel a lot better. Moving on here. There's a lot of snoozers in the afternoon, I've noticed. Slight lean to Arkansas State here. I think Kansas State's kind of in that bottom 10 FBS region for football. So small lean to the Red Wolves there. Here's another one I kind of like, but just barely didn't hit the best bet board. I like the Missouri Tigers here. South Carolina, their quarterback's hurt. I think he's going to be back, but he's in concussion protocol. Sellers, and Missouri's looked good again. They're at home. Tough place to play. That's a decent trip from South Carolina to Missouri as well. And I just think they're a better team. So I could see, I don't think they're going to win by too much more than the margin here. Like maybe they win by 10. Like this is pretty well priced. But I do think Missouri's the better side here. Ayo, Bugatti Bailey in the house. So yeah, I'd be on Missouri there. South Carolina got drilled by Vanderbilt last week at home. Not going to get any easier in Missouri. Small lean to Marshall. I think Middle Tennessee State is in that bottom 20, bottom 10 schools this year, unfortunately. Marshall was decimated by the transfer portal and their coach leaving last year, but I still think they can win at Middle Tennessee by 3. Nevada might be one of the worst teams as well, so I would probably lean towards Western Kentucky here. I'm not sure why this is only 9.5. We might need to check the injury report there because that's a little fishy. I think Western Kentucky is going to annihilate Nevada. I'm not seeing anything else that stands out. I can't believe how bad Coastal Carolina is this year. That was weird. Last week they got killed. All right, here's another best bet. We have the Apple Cup, the Washington State rivalry. Happens every year, and it gets weird every year. Some years where Washington is in a top 5 and Washington State's not, and then it's a field goal finish. Other years, one's maybe a 14-point underdog, and they win the game. Well, this year, I don't see any weirdness happening. And it's going to kill me to play this fight song because they are my rivals. So I might need to leave the room. But I hate to do it. We got to play this stupid song here. It's an ugly, ugly song. For those people up north. But I got to play it. Washington is the best bet this week. Listen, Washington State lost 59-10 last week to North Texas. North Texas is worse than Washington. What do you think is going to happen here? Come on now. It's going to be a slaughter. They'll keep it sort of close early maybe, but Washington's going to win by 28. Come on. I don't care if it's a rivalry. They're gonna slaughter them. So there's another one of your best bets there, chat. Just huge talent difference there. Huge talent difference. We got ourselves another best bet here. Your mic is randomly tweaking. May need to unplug. I've already done that. I've already done that once today. What's up with the mic today? Okay, so the next best bet. We got another song. Let's play it. Miami. If you can wait till Saturday, maybe get a 7.5. But I am on the Hurricanes here. Florida just isn't very good. Their offense stinks. Quarterback threw 6 interceptions last week. It's been turned into a meme. And Miami is going to control the line of scrimmage. They got some dogs up front. This could be low scoring. I would be surprised if the over hit here, but I mean, I don't think Florida's going to score much here. Maybe 14 points? Maybe 17? I think Miami's going to beat them by 10, maybe 14. So I'll take the Canes here at home. Looks like movement on that as well. Illinois, Indiana, this is a tough one for me. I'm kind of in a toss-up. I'm kind of waiting for 7.5 to appear before I get in on this. But right now, my heart is leaning Illinois plus 6.5. I think they are slightly better team than Indiana, but they are on the road, so that makes it maybe a small favoritism to Indiana being at home there by a field goal. 6.5 is too much, I think, though. I think this is going to be a dogfight. It's going to come down to the wire. A money line sprinkle, not a bad idea here. A $5 sprinkle would get you $14.40. So, yeah, money line sprinkle is not a bad play there. But I'm going to take the 6.5. I hope that it gets to 7. So I'm going to wait, see if there was a group. I think this started at 4.5. There was a group that bet Indiana heavy this week, so maybe another group will. and we'll get that 7. But I'm on Illinois to keep it close. I like Southern Miss here. This is basically last year's Marshall team, as we know. Same coach, same team. I don't know. I think the wrong team's favored here. I think Southern Miss is going to win the game. So another money line sprinkle potentially here, but I will take all of those 3.5 points. Louisiana Tech's not bad, but I think Southern Miss is pretty good, and that's not that far of a trip. You know, what is it, Hattiesburg, just going all the way over to Louisiana. That is not a small – that's not a big trip at all. I mean, that's just a short bus ride. Vanderbilt has covered every game this year, I'm pretty sure. Last year they covered by a lot. They're undervalued in the market. I do think this could be a look-ahead spot. They got a big one next week. But Georgia State lost by, 50 or 60 to Ole Miss. And Vanderbilt's as good as Ole Miss. So you got to go with the 27.5 here. I'm not sure why BYU is going all the way over to East Carolina. But I like East Carolina. I don't know if I like them here. BYU is pretty good this year. This seems like a fishy line. Somebody knows something. And because of that, I'm going to stay away. But if I didn't have that instinct, I would take BYU here. I think they win by exactly 7. But somebody knows something here, so be careful there. That seems a little fishy. I like Virginia. I think Stanford going all the way over to Virginia is a long trip. And I just don't think they're that good. I know they beat BC last week, but I think Virginia's pretty good. I think they're going to win by 17 or 20. You got to go LSU here. I mean, it's Southeast Louisiana is not even that good in the FCS. So I think LSU wins this by 45 points. I mean, you got to go with LSU there, pass. I mean, I'm not betting Texas games for the rest of the year. They haven't covered yet, I don't think. No, they haven't covered. Last week, they dicked around with UTEP. All right, what's going on here? The only thing that I would do in this game is maybe the Sam Houston State team total under. Because the defense on Texas is outstanding. Their offense is a mess. So I would not think they would cover this unless they figure out the offense. But I do think the defense will show up. So I would take the Sam Houston State. If it's still 7.5, I'd do the team total under there. You got to think Utah State or pass with that. We're getting close to wrapping it up here. I see we're getting to the night shift. That would be Cal or pass. That's a lot of points for USC to lay against Michigan State. Somebody knows something here. Is there a mismatch? This was 16.5. Now it's 18.5. Michigan State's 3-0. But they're 18.5 point underdog. That's a lot to be underdog when you're undefeated. Oh, man. I feel like if this keeps growing, maybe to 20.5, I think you got to slam Michigan State. But as it stands right now, it's a pass. Maybe an over. And that is it, y'all. So, y'all be wise out there. Bet responsibly. Don't bet your entire freaking savings on stuff. Be careful with your units. And I will see you next week. I'm going to swap over